So environmentalism and respect for the environment has become one of the key trends of our time. Our particular contribution to that, we like to think, is integrating an environmentally friendly approach to designing fitness interiors. And that is the subject of this video. We're going to explain briefly how we create green, nature-inspired interiors for fitness studios, gyms, and health facilities. If you like what you see, hit subscribe on our YouTube channel. Check out our previous design projects over on biofit.io. And also, whilst there, you can download a free ebook that we've created on how we do eco-design for gyms. We're talking about the equipment, talking about the flooring, type of lighting you use, right the way down to bathroom amenities and the cleaning products even. We use a concept called Biophilic design in our gyms, which is about natural, sustainable, and healthy interiors. What does that mean? Well, we use a lot of air purifying plants. We use non-toxic organic materials as well, circadian lighting systems. We're purifying the air in a number of different ways. We're using natural aromatherapy. We're trying to reduce the use of plastics wherever possible, prioritizing organic or natural alternatives. And there's a lot of really interesting gym equipment coming out. A lot of US and European brands doing really good things that we try to support in the equipment that we choose or promote for use in gyms as well. So in sum, that biophilic design approach gives you an interior environment that is inherently in tune with the outside world. The whole concept is bringing the outside world in whilst respecting nature. Those two things have to go together, otherwise there's just this inherent tension in what you're doing. You're trying to recreate the outside world whilst in some way damaging that outside world. That doesn't work. If you're going to do it, you have to do it in a respectful way, and not just not doing any harm, but hopefully doing some good for people and planet in the process. One example, natural light is fundamental to how we think about designing an indoor space, but often in certain locations, for example, Sweden, it's just not enough to hope that you've got natural light. For example, in an indoor environment in the Northern Hemisphere with small windows. You've got a problem. So how can you find ways around? Well, there's some really interesting stuff coming out with what's called circadian or wellness or smart lighting systems that essentially recreate the sun's daily flow. Now, we're connected to that through our own circadian rhythms, so you can program indoor lighting systems to replicate nature. That will then reduce electricity use, but also improve sleep for people working out after dark and give an energy boost during the day as well, with that blue-white light spectrum that the sun gives out in the morning, but you might not get in an indoor or underground space, for example. For an indoor air quality experience closer to what you might get in the great outdoors, there are a number of things we can do. A lot of plants, well, about 10 or 12 of our top plants that we might use are air purifying, and they can do a lot of positive work for an indoor space. One thing on that, you need quite a few of them. You might need 6 to 7 plants per person in that gym facility. So we'll then supplement that with other things, primarily through the use of air purifiers and humidifiers to balance things out nicely. In terms of gym equipment in an eco gym, we prefer to stay away from rows of strength machines that only let you do one movement, and ditto with a bunch of recline bikes with infotainment systems connected to Wi-Fi. We just think there's other ways of doing things. We really try to promote a slightly more movement-based approach, so offering a priority to space that allows for movement, not just reps and sets on a pec deck or on a leg press or something like that. So we're big on manual treadmills, water rowing machines, and generally equipment made of wood and more natural materials. But we're the first to admit there is still a long way to go in this industry. We are doing what we can and supporting the brands that are producing equipment with an eco-friendly or nature-first approach. There is still a lot of work to do, and fitness is a long way behind other sectors. However, that doesn't mean it's not an excuse just to give up. It just means we can do the best we can and do our best to innovate at the same time and push things forward, always asking for more, always asking for improvements from our suppliers to get closer to a truly eco-friendly solution for the whole collection of gym equipment that we propose. For example, eco-cardio machines are quite interesting. They've got a number of brands out there who will pump some electricity back onto the grid when you've got a whole bunch of cardio workouts going on at the same time. It's minimal in terms of how much energy can be produced, but I think it is a valuable contribution, and it sets a precedent that other brands hopefully will follow. In terms of cooling in your gym, ventilation, large-scale industrial ventilation fans, depending on where you are and the temperatures over the course of a year, they may be enough, at least for certain seasons. In the same way, depending on where you are, natural ventilation keeps things fresh at certain times of day or certain times of year. For additional natural textures and finishes, we're a big fan of grass-like flooring underfoot, and you also have a number of sustainably sourced net effect carpet tiles from brands like Interface that are really useful. Of course, you also have eco rubber gym tiles that are a pretty good bet, and we work with a combination of the above essentially. Flooring is a really big part of how your gym looks overall. It's right up there with what happens on the walls, the type of equipment you have, and so that flooring needs to look the part, but also have a functional, practical use and be super easy to clean and adapt appropriately to the type of training happening in that particular zone of the gym. We mentioned cleaning, so consider the type of cleaning materials you're using. Strangely, cleaning materials can be one way for chemicals to come into your facility, but if you have a protocol or an operating procedure that dictates eco-friendly, natural products only, you've just removed that entire problem. There is so much more we can do. We spend our whole lives thinking about these issues. So hopefully that gives you a brief overview of some of the main ideas. If you have any comments or questions, let us know. And biofit.io to see what else we do in terms of eco gym design. We'll see you there.